Hello, welcome back to Poised and Petty. My name is Ellie, and today we're gonna do some studying. We're gonna have a study session on voice training. So grab your notepad. I already started mine. I was watching these videos and I was thinking, you know what? This would be a good video. So if you're looking to start a voice training like I am, then grab your notepad, grab a drink, and let's get into it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 videos we're going to go through, and I'm going to put them in the description below, so if you want to watch them on your own time, they'll be in the description. And yeah, let's start this voice training journey. So today's gonna be day 1. I'm not gonna make a long form video like this every day. It's mostly gonna be shorts on tracking my progress and doing daily exercises, but maybe once a week, every other week, we'll do a long video check-in and kind of see how everything's going. So today is day 1. I do have a weekly schedule, a weekly plan. Let me switch over. Okay. So I do have a weekly plan here, and that is let's see. So things to learn: pitch, breathy, resonance, vocal weight, vocal brightness, inflection. And then I've got my 90-day week plan, so we're gonna do 3 months of starting. I think this video is coming out January 1st of 2026, so we're gonna do January, February, and March. So this is what we got for our weeks. Week 1, I want to work on my breath, relaxation. We're gonna get into pitch awareness on week 2. And like I said, most of my content is going to be in shorts. So if you want to pay attention, I will have a shorts playlist that you can follow along on my journey. But yeah, let's get into these videos though, because this is going to be a long video. I think it's going to be, it's probably going to be almost 2 hours. So grab your drink. I got my Mountain Dew. Something fell. And I got my notepad. So grab your drink, sit down, and let's learn. Let's do a study session. All right, let's get into this.
Voice training. Where do you start with trans voice training? This one's for the ladies. Hey, my name's Scott at Seattle Voice Lab, and first thing you want to be focusing on is pitch. So generally you want your voice to be right around B3 on a nice A, ah sort of sound. A, ah.
Okay, I don't know what that means. B3 on my pitch? I don't know. Well, this is where to start. I feel like you're 2 steps ahead of me.
Whatever feels more comfortable for you. Next, what you want to do is you want to try to make that voice breathy. This is going to come into play later as you start to learn about resonance. So take that ah sound, it'll be easier on ah. And if you're feeling overzealous, hey. From there, you want to take that, put that in a box, and put it aside. Next, you're going to learn about resonance. If you're looking for a nice bright resonance, you want to give it a nice like ew sort of sound. Think like ew, gross. Watch how the larynx lifts when I make that sound. Ew, ew. The larynx is what is giving you that really bright sort of nasally sort of space. Keep an eye out for anything that kind of goes like ow, ow. It's called pharynx tension or covered sound. We don't want to do that. Next, you're going to take that breathiness out of the box and we're going to bring these two together. It's going to kind of go like this. Ew. Now, this will be really hard. This is where people really struggle with the voice training element. But you're essentially taking a really, really tight spot where it's really, really bright, relieving that tension and opening the quotient on top of it at the same time. In other words, you're just making that ew sound nice and breathy. Ew. From this point forward, you want to try and manage your volume as well. Try to find a place that's comfortable. It doesn't feel too tense, doesn't feel like you're stressing too much or anything of the sort. It should be easy at that point. At that point, you want to consider what I like to call tonal consistency, and then just make that voice consistent across a very monotone way of speaking. Say phrases that you say every single day. Hey, how are you? How's it going?
Okay. I feel like she's just throwing so much at me right now. I am lost in the sauce. Okay, okay.
I'll have a small cup of coffee, please. From there, you want to introduce a little bounce into the sound. I'll have a small cup of coffee, please. And then if you really want to get creative with it, you can kind of throw in some like pitch changes. I like to think about a cheerleader. Hi, today I'll have a cup of coffee. And then from there, it's learning how to not only trust that space, but also relax into it. Today I'll have a cup of coffee. Today I'll have a cup of coffee. And then as you start to learn this place, you can let it relax. You can play around with your pitch a little bit. You can kind of go lower with it. You can kind of go higher with it. Just kind of go wherever you want with it. And that's how to do it.
Okay. That was, I feel like that's just lost so much. Okay. That was a lot. I don't know what a lot of these words mean. Pitch, breathiness, bounce. I don't know what is bounce. Ooh. Okay, see, this is the problem that I've had with voice training is I'll watch these videos and I get so overwhelmed and I'm lost and I just stop. I just don't do it. But we're gonna go through this all. I started watching this video and this was good, and this gave a lot, and so then that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a little study session video. So let's get into this, the ultimate guide.
Back to the video.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Renee, and I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher. And today, we've finally done it.
Because they said I couldn't have it.
We've created the ultimate guide to trans voice training.
A little bit much.
That's good.
Acting.
I'm a little bit of an actor myself. Insert that meme.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Whether you are trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming, questioning, or just curious about everything your voice can do, this video is for you. I believe that there is no wrong reason to train your speaking voice. And the more that we can normalize the process of modifying the speaking voice, the less stigma there will be. To me, it's not any different from changing your hairstyle or your wardrobe.
Clothes. Treat yourself.
In fact, it's even easier than both of those things because you can get started right now for free exactly as you are. You don't need prior voice knowledge, hormones, surgeries, or a letter from a psychologist. So, let's get started. So, what is gender-affirming voice training? Also called trans voice training, voice feminization or masculinization, and much more, gender-affirming voice training is the process of consciously modifying the speaking voice to create a new one that brings comfort and safety. This is done through a long-term process of training with specific voice exercises. You can think of it like a cross between a physical exercise like weight training and learning a new instrument like the piano. It can take a long time to see results. You have to be conscious of your form and mindful of injuries or fatigue, but over time, the movements become second nature as new habits form. Everyone's goals and motivation for voice training are different. Some people have particular voice goals in mind, and some are willing to simply see what their voice is capable of.
I was just along for the ride.
Some want to prioritize creating a voice that gives them gender euphoria when they hear it, and others want to prioritize creating a voice that elicits the desired reaction from strangers.
That one. So, I think my presentation and my wardrobe and I think how I portray myself is a little bit more feminine compared to my voice. So last week or the week before, I was out delivering mail, and as I was delivering mail, someone came out and picked up their mail, and they were like, "Oh, a new mail woman." And then I turned around and waited, and they said thank you, and I turned around and I waited. I said, "Yeah, you're welcome," or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, a mailman. I'm sorry." So I think my presentation and how I look can be feminine, but my voice is like, "Ooh, you're a man, you're a sir." So I want to, that's my biggest motivation, is to, I guess, pass when it comes to my voice, because I know I don't, and I've always hated my voice. So that is what I'm working towards.
Some people want to sound more like their mom, and others want to sound nothing like their mom.
No, Mom, no.
There are so many
I don't care if I sound like my mom, that doesn't bother me.
ways to undertake the process of trans voice training. Some people seek the help of a professional, such as a voice teacher like me or a speech-language pathologist, while others self-direct their study, or as a meme once told me, only train around transphobes. Chaotic evil, training in front of transphobes. There needs to be like a dangerous part of this alignment chart. How you decide to train depends on your learning style, access to insurance and health services, your schedule, and so much more. There are many paths in trans voice training, but the right one is the one that works for you. And while these services are mostly sought out by trans people, like all gender-affirming care, there are plenty of cisgender people who also seek to modify their speaking voice.
All for one and one for all.
I love that voice, the all for one and one for all. That's like, what's his name? Macho Man. I've got you for 3 minutes.
I got you for 3 minutes.
I will say I love playing with my voice. I love doing characters or making noises. So I think I'm going to leverage that with this and try to have fun and make it more playful. So yeah.
Oh, yes, brother.
So how does your voice work, and how are we able to change it? The magic starts here, in your neck. If you press gently, you may be able to feel the shape of your larynx, otherwise known as your voice box. Your larynx houses your vocal folds, also called your vocal cords. And when you phonate, or make sound, you may be able to feel them vibrating. Ah, ah, ah. Your larynx sits atop your trachea and is suspended from your hyoid bone in a cage of muscle. It can move up and down, such as when you swallow or yawn, but fun fact, it can also be manipulated side to side. Muscles inside and outside your larynx are active in yawning, swallowing, coughing, and speaking. They control the pitch of your voice, how breathy it sounds, and more. And speaking of breath, the airflow of your breath also impacts the quality of your voice. For example, louder sounds require higher air pressure and lower volume, and breathier sounds require more air volume but lower pressure.
Now, breathing. Brett, you've got to remember to keep breathing, okay?
Above your larynx is your vocal tract, which consists of your throat, mouth, and nose. Changing the size and shape of the vocal tract changes the color of the sound produced by your vocal folds. You do this every day when you create different vowel sounds. When we do
I could do that. Easy.
Gender-affirming voice work, we modify the size and shape of the vocal tract, the height of the larynx, the configuration of the vocal folds, and more. That might sound like a lot, but you do all that every day in your regular speech. Just like any kind of exercise, you may be using your muscles in a new way, but those muscles haven't been dormant. You use them all the time. If you want a more detailed dive into vocal anatomy, check out my free ebook, Learn How Your Voice Works, a Trans Vocal Anatomy Guide, linked below. So, now that we have an idea of how the voice works, what do we need to do to alter the perceived gender of your voice? In my courses and with my private students, I focus on 4 main areas: resonance, pitch, vocal weight, and inflection. And since this is the ultimate guide to trans voice training, we're going to look at all of these today, starting with resonance.
Okay, now this is what I want to learn. I don't know what these words mean. I keep hearing them, but yes, this is what I want. I want to know what they mean.
Okay, this is where I'm afraid I might lose a lot of you because the topic of resonance is notoriously overwhelming and sometimes challenging to understand. But Pinky promised me right now that even if you start to zone out, stay with me because you might gain some clarity with all the pieces of the puzzle put together.
Later, we'll go for ice cream.
Resonance is the word that we use to describe the changing color of a vocal sound independent from pitch. Okay, this is already kind of confusing, so let me...
What?
Wait, what?
Changing color. What? Wait, say that again.
Sound. Resonance is the word that we use to describe the changing color of a vocal sound independent from pitch.
Changing sound of color? What's this? Okay,
this is already kind of confusing, so let me just show you.
Okay, I could do this with her. Okay, resonance, light, dark, pitch, high, low. Okay, well, I want to know what pitch. Okay, let's do.
Kind of confusing, so
okay.
Let me just show you. Are we getting the picture here? Everything I just demonstrated was sung on one note. The actual frequency I was singing was not getting higher or lower, but you heard a difference, right? The quality I'm modifying is called resonance. I label these colors as bright or dark to differentiate them from pitch, but your ear will...
Dark, bright, dark. Okay. So, with my goal in my previous video, I talked about I want a sultry, maybe even raspy voice. So I'm guessing that's gonna be darker resonance? I don't know.
At first, probably perceive these sounds as indistinguishable from high and low pitch, which is why resonance is such a powerful tool.
How'd you do it?
Magic.
If the terms resonance, bright, and dark are not resonating with you, some people prefer to refer to this quality as vocal space and qualify sounds as small or large, correlating to the size of the vocal tract.
Got it? Good.
Good. Okay, so there's light and dark. And then, what she says, small and large. Okay, so resonance is the same as vocal space?
Bright and dark are not resonating with you. Some people prefer to refer to this quality as vocal space.
Resonance, so the range of, and your resonance of light and dark is the same as your vocal space of
and qualify sounds as small or
small and large. So resonance and vocal weight, is that the same thing? So we got small and large,
correlating to the size of the vocal tract.
Got it? Good.
The important takeaway about resonance or vocal space is that this is the quality that has the largest effect on the perceived gender of your voice. Let's
Okay, that was a big, that's going to be in the exam. Vocal space. And okay, so that is going to be on the exam. I just know it. So resonance, vocal space, she said it has the largest indicator.
important takeaway about resonance or vocal space is that this is the quality that has the largest effect on the perceived gender of
Got it. Okay. So this is the largest effect. Remember that. So resonance is I already forgot. Resonance was, what was the light and dark? Was that it? Oh my god, I already forgot. Yeah, light and dark. Yes. So light and dark, but it's also AKA small and large. Vocal space. Okay. So this has the largest effect. So we want to spend the most of our time learning and practicing resonance with our voice. Got it.
Which is why resonance is such a powerful tool.
How'd you do it?
Magic.
Some people small or large takeaway about resonance or vocal space is that this is the quality that has the largest effect on the perceived gender of your voice. Let's see this in action. First, I want you to whisper hello. Hello. Now,
Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. I love saying hello there. My Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I want you to whisper hello in a higher pitch. Hello.
Wait. Hello. Okay. Wait, let's do it again.
First, I want you to whisper hello.
Hello.
Now, I want you to whisper hello in a higher pitch. Hello. Now I want you to whisper hello in a lower pitch.
Okay. I can do this. So we got hello. Okay. Now we do higher. Hello. Okay. Hello. It's me, Batman. Hello. Okay. This is fun.
Hear the difference?
Yes.
Well, psych! I tricked you.
What?
What
the fuck?
Whispers don't have pitches.
I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book!
What you are hearing is the difference in resonance or vocal space. If you can make your whisper sound different in this way, then you can adjust the resonance of your speaking voice. Check out my resonance playlist on my channel for more resonance exercises. Now, let's check out tips.
Okay. Wait, she got me. So whispering, if changing your pitch when you're whispering is not your pitch, it's your resonance. So that, okay. I need to write that down on my resonance. So this was the whisper exercise. Whisper exercise with okay. We gotta come back to her.
The pitch of your voice is a measure of how high or low it is, as read by a tuner. It's also called the fundamental frequency of your voice. When you make a sound, vocal folds come together and vibrate in little waves. It is, as read by a tuner. It's also called the fundamental frequency of your voice. When you make a sound, the vocal folds come together and vibrate in little waves. The stretch of the vocal folds and the speed of the airflow would determine how fast they vibrate. The tighter the stretch, the faster the vibration, and the higher the note. It's like the Jaws theme.
Yeah.
In the last section, we talked about.
Okay, she's a millennial because I find her funny, so I think we're both millennials. I just had to say that.
Resonance and how the vocal tract modifies the sound created by the vocal folds. It's important to understand that you can never hear the pitch of your voice without the effect of the vocal tract. To hear just the pure tone of your vocal folds, you'd have to take your whole head off.
Well, I hate that. Just tell us what you know, please.
We can measure the pitch of your voice using a tuner, but always remember that one single pitch can sound many different ways.
Okay, I don't know what that means. A change in key is usually between 10 and 20 hertz in the upper register. I don't know what that means. So when you go up 10 to 20 hertz, that's a change in key? I don't know anything about sound or music or voice. I know nothing. I know nothing. I'm just a baby.
I see nothing. I know nothing.
Was it the same?
That was actually great, yeah.
Was it all the same frequency?
Yeah, it barely fluctuated by like a hertz.
Told ya. In gender-affirming voice work, we are often working on raising or lowering the average pitch of the voice. Some people, though, find it easier to choose a pitch range and work towards staying inside that range rather than working towards a new average pitch, because speech is expressive with lots of highs and lows.
I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu.
They know Kung Fu.
Oh my god, not Pee-wee. Oh, but I want, so a previous video I watched, Sultry has you're speaking slower and you're monotone. So that means that there would be a low variation, I'm assuming, which I'm okay with. But
Lots of highs and lows.
I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu. High pitch beer.
I know Kung Fu.
I know Kung Fu. Okay.
They know Kung Fu.
Still know Kung Fu.
Many people.
Yeah, okay. So the Sultry, the Keanu Reeves of the group, low pitch, low variation. But I also want it to be feminine. Okay. I think I'm learning.
I know Kung Fu.
They know Kung Fu.
Still know Kung Fu.
Many people think that pitch is the most important quality of the voice when it comes to trans voice training, and then they worry that they'll have to make big changes here. But since resonance is the quality that actually has the biggest impact on the perceived gender of the voice, sometimes even small shifts in pitch can.
Remember, that's going to be on the exam. Resonance has the largest effect, not pitch.
Be super effective. I go into way more of my feelings about pitch in my voice tools video. Let's see pitch in action. Count 1, 2, 3, and using a tuner or an instrument, try and figure out which note you're starting on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Pick a new starting note, slightly higher or slightly lower than your original starting note, and see how that changes the other notes of your sentence. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you're working on raising your pitch, you might want to be aware of your pitch falling dramatically when you relax at the end of a sentence. Listen to the difference with and without that relaxation. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There are many ways you can work on pitch, but
Okay. Now, if I had an instrument or a piano, I would do this, but I don't. And I am afraid that I am completely tone deaf. So, yeah, gosh, I don't know. 1, 2, 3. So you don't want to fall off. Beware of pitch falling. 1, 2, 3. So you don't want that falling off. Okay.
1, 2, 3. There are many ways you can work on pitch, but remember that human voices are very dynamic and your pitch will naturally have some variability. Check out my pitch playlist on my channel for more pitch exercises. Vocal weight describes the heaviness or lightness of a vocal sound, which is controlled by the physical thickness of...
Okay. So that was pitch. So... what? I didn't even write anything down for pitch. There's just so much. Oh my god. So... Alright, well, let's just keep going.
Of vocal folds and how much they are pressing together, also called adduction. If you remember from earlier, higher notes are vibrating faster because they are stretched tighter. This tighter stretch also means a thinner vocal fold. Just like how when you stretch an elastic band tight, it gets thinner than a loose one.
What are you doing?
Stretching?
This is why higher notes have a naturally lighter sound. But if you want to make the sound of a higher note thicker or heavier, you have to press your vocal folds together more. On the flip.
Okay, I don't know what you just did. I don't think I noticed anything. What?
Press your vocal folds together more.
Oh, that's so subtle. That was super subtle. I barely noticed it. Okay.
On the flip side, lower notes sound naturally heavier because the vocal folds are naturally thicker, and you can lighten them by reducing the vocal fold pressure. I like to think of vocal weight as a spectrum between buzzy and breathy, with balanced in the middle.
Well, to actually get all the words, not all jumbly-wumbly.
BBC News in London, I'm Lakshmi Singh. In
English!
I'd like to order dessert with milk, please.
In addition to these dynamic changes of vocal fold thickness, your vocal folds also have an intrinsic thickness that is determined by your physiology. For example, those who have experienced a testosterone puberty will have naturally thicker vocal folds.
Yeah, she's thick. What? You can hate people and still think they're hot.
If you have a naturally buzzier sound and you want a more balanced sound, you may want to work to bring your vocal folds together more gently in phonation. If you overcompensate, however, you could end up with a breathier sound, meaning the vocal folds aren't in complete contact.
I am okay with breathiness. I think that's what I'm going towards with the sultry goal. Having some more breathiness.
Those.
Oh, okay. I can. Oh, I feel that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, I want that breathiness.
Seeking to create the thickening effects of testosterone may opt for a more percussive attack, which creates more vocal fold pressure and a heavier sound. An important note with this quality is that everything I've mentioned today only works at an average speaking volume. When we get into shouting, things are different. One of my favorite ways to experience vocal weight is with the chicken neck exercise.
You, chicken?
To start, you're going to phonate on an open ah vowel. Ah. Then, without changing your pitch or changing your vocal tract at all, i.e. just keep your face totally relaxed, you're going to retract your head so that your chin is compressed into your neck, like this. Then you're going to move your head forward so that the front of your neck elongates, like this. It's important to also keep your upper body stable while doing this.
Okay, we can do this. Let's do this together. Okay. All right. Be cool. Relax.
If you move your chest back and forward, you won't get the same effect. So by compressing and elongating the neck in this way, we mechanically thicken and thin the vocal folds, allowing us to hear what different weights sound like. Listen to this. Ah, ah.
Whoa, that's cool. Wait, I could do that. Okay. How'd you do that? Okay. Oh, that's weird. I feel it a little bit. Relax. Okay, that's weird.
Once you find one you like, you can work towards maintaining that feeling in the neutral position, like this, for example. So this is more balanced or lighter. And then I can try and maintain it in the neutral position. So as with other characteristics, I also have a playlist for vocal weight that you can go ahead and check out. Lastly, inflection.
Okay, that was interesting. So I'm assuming the order that she's teaching, resonance, pitch, vocal weight, inflection, correlates to the largest to the least effect. So I'm guessing inflection has the weakest effect. So we'll put most of our time into resonance and then pitch and then vocal weight. Do I want to learn? Do I want to do these in order? I might have to reorganize my plan. Resonance. I don't think resonance. Okay, and then pitch awareness. Okay. Well, let's keep going.
Inflection. Inflection is the quality that creates character and gives your sentences meaning.
Inflection is so interesting.
I usually split inflection into two sections. One, contour, referring to the spread of pitches used in speech. You can have a wide contour, meaning that you have a wider spread of pitches to your voice with lots of highs and lows, or a shallower contour, meaning you use fewer pitches or have a more monotonous voice. A wide
Okay, yeah. So wide, that's what we want, the more monotonous, sultry voice. Okay, so wide contour has more inflection, more range.
Have a wider spread of pitches.
Wider spread. So there's wide and shallow. Wide, shallow. So this has a wider range. This has less range and more monotonous, which is what we're shooting for.
To your voice with lots of highs and lows, or a shallower contour, meaning you use fewer pitches or have a more monotonous voice. A wide contour is sometimes seen as more expressive and playful, and a shallower contour is seen as more serious. 2.
Yeah, I want to be serious. I want to be sultry and serious. Yeah. Okay, so we're okay. So I want to go through this, and I want to look and compare at my inspiration on voices, on where I would like to go towards, and then for each resonance, pitch, vocal weight, inflection, I want to pick like a section or the category, or in this case, the options. So I want a more shallow contour, and then yeah, so I'll have to go through this and kind of pick each resonance, pitch, vocal weight, inflection on where we're going. So I definitely do want a more shallow contour. Yes.
Emphasis, referring to how you stress words or syllables in your sentences. You could emphasize using pitch. How are you? Or volume. How are you? By stretching a syllable. How are you? And more. Pitch, how you stress as more serious. 2. Emphasis, referring to how you stress words or syllables in your sentences. You could emphasize using pitch. How are you? Or volume. How are you? By stretching a syllable. How are you? And more. As you can see, inflection uses the other vocal characteristics we discussed in previous parts of this video: pitch, resonance, and vocal weight.
Yes! Oh my God, yes! With exactly that inflection.
So while you can think of inflection as its own characteristic, I sometimes think of it as the other characteristics in action. To see this in action, let's do an exercise from my course, Mix and Match Designing Your Non-Binary Voice, called Once More with Feeling. First, we'll say the word ridiculous. Say it as if you're reacting to something.
Ridiculous. Okay.
Match Designing Your Non-Binary Voice, called Once More with Feeling. First, we'll say the word ridiculous. Say it as if you're reacting to something. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I don't know. I don't have ridiculous is not in my vocabulary. Say it as if I was reacting to something. Girl, you are ridiculous. I don't know. I don't use that word.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. See, I don't use that word, so it does not sound natural. Ridiculous. I tell you, ridiculous.
Say it as if you're reacting to something. Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Now, say the word again, but be more expressive this time. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Notice which syllable is stressed. In the case...
Okay. Be more dramatic, you say. Ridiculous. That is ridiculous. 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 Okay.
In case of the word ridiculous, it's the middle syllable.
Dick, yeah.
Now, try emphasizing that syllable in different ways. By increasing the pitch. Ridiculous. By increasing the volume. Ridiculous. By stretching the middle syllable. Ridiculous.
Okay, so let's try ridiculous. Ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Okay. Now, that was ridiculous. Okay. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Oh, I like the stretching one more. Feel like that's a little more sultry. That is ridiculous. Or maybe we can go lower with the volume. So we could do, that is ridiculous. I could feel that like fry.
Which one feels best for you?
Yeah,
It's just a matter of emphasis.
It's just a matter of emphasis. I like the stretching one. That is ridiculous. Yes, I like the stretching one. That is ridiculous. Yes, which goes both slower aspect and the monotone aspect of a sultry voice. So the stretch, I like the stretch. That feels natural. And then the volume where we kind of go off. So that is ridiculous. It's getting quieter. Okay. Oh, interesting. This is fun. Okay.
Check out my inflection playlist for more about this characteristic. So now we've looked at vocal anatomy, vocal characteristics, and more, but you may still be wondering, how do I get started creating a voice that gives me a sense of safety and comfort?
Yeah, what they said.
It can be easy at first to be overwhelmed with all the information that's available out there. So if you're brand new to the practice, I always recommend starting by getting to know your voice and how you like to practice in a neutral setting where your success or failure at performing gender is not a factor, and exploration is the goal.
It's really all about the journey, isn't it?
Yes, and that's, okay, so that's what I want to, that is kind of the point of this channel, is my diary of kind of talking about my feelings, my transition, and exploring. So, yeah, I'm excited to explore, especially with my voice, something that's been very hard on me to think or to listen back on and hear my own voice and learning all of this terminology. Yeah, I'm excited to explore, so it's gonna be fun.
To do this, I would start by doing a regular warm-up a few times a week or every day if you can manage that. I have a free follow-along voice warm-up that you can access on my website right now. By warming up regularly, you will deepen your understanding of your voice, develop a practice habit, and confront the silliness of voice work head-on. All things that are super important to your success in gender-affirming voice work.
Yes, I think the silliness or the embarrassing part, that's hard, I think, for me, doing a lot of things. But there's this quote that I'm gonna put in here after. It was, I think, what's his name? Austin Butler. He said, embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. And I want to take that and run with it. Because transitioning, I want to transition. I want to work on myself. I want to work on becoming the best person that I can be. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, what do you have to lose? Like, I'm already not happy with my voice. So by doing voice training, like, what do I have to lose? Nothing. So I'm going to accept that it might be embarrassing, might be hard, might feel silly, but you know, c'est la vie. That's life. Let's explore.
Once you start to become comfortable with having a vocal practice, you can either start to incorporate exercises that target these individual characteristics, or you can use imitation to practice speaking in new ways without the need to break things down by characteristic at all. Over time, through regular practice and experimentation, you will start to hone in on a voice that feels good for you. The next step is bringing that practice and experimentation into everyday life so that you can overwrite your old vocal habits and create new ones. I tried to make this video as comprehensive as I could, and as you can see, it's a lot longer than our usual videos. Sorry, T.
Today we are canceling the apocalypse!
But if you want more detailed information and a ton more exercises, I recommend checking out one of my full-length trans voice courses: Mindful Voice Feminization, Masculinize Your Voice Without Testosterone, and Mix and Match, Designing Your Non-Binary Voice. In my courses, I walk you through everything you need to know to help you create a voice that brings you comfort, safety, and gender euphoria. If you're watching this video in June of 2025, you can get 30% off now by using code PRIDE2025. That's all for today. I've been Renee, and I hope this helps.
Okay, that definitely helped. This was a great video. Yeah, so I want to do so again, like I said, I'm doing a 3-month daily, I guess, challenge voice training. I understand 90 days in the big picture is not a long time. So I do hope to get somewhere, and I think I will, with 90 days of doing something every day, but I do want to take it slow. So in here, the first week, I'm just doing breath practice, relaxation. So my 3-month plan is going to be very slow, and hopefully I learn just a little bit every day. And so I'm excited to kind of see where I'll be at the end of the 90 days. But yeah, this is a really good video. We're going to keep going. I know we're already almost an hour in, but yeah, we're going to keep going and just kind of get a foundation, a skeleton, kind of a baseline of voice training. And yeah, all right, let's keep going.
Where do you start with trans feminine voice training? Well, simply put, there are actually 2 places that you need to start working on. The first one is probably what you're more familiar with, resonance. The second one is airflow. Let's cover resonance first. So with resonance, we have 3 resonant chambers in the voice. The first resonant chamber, second, and third. Sometimes these are referred to as formants as well. The goal of trans feminine speakers is to lift the larynx to decrease the amount of space in our first formant. The second formant is all about removing the amount of space with the tongue, and then the third one is the lips. The lips are easy. The lips are backwards, the voice is brighter, the voice is darker. So how do we do that? Well, working backwards, the lips, forward, backwards. The tongue, as long as we pronounce our words like every vowel is an E, we are already going to notice a change in the brightness of our sound. The third one is the trickiest one, and this is the one that most people have trouble with. This is the larynx height. I want you to focus on the root position of the tongue, looking in a mirror and just going back and forth. And when you start to feel like you've got that down, you can kind of lift and lower the larynx just using the tongue without sound. Then try to add sound to it, and it should kind of sound like one of those like slide whistles. Take that high position, shape it around an E. And there's your resonant. If you're interested in voice lessons, you can sign up at seattlevoicelab.com or just leave a comment, and I help everybody who comments. That works too. Let's talk about the other one, because a bright E sound isn't gonna sound very natural, and this is where we want to talk about our airflow. So when you're able to develop that bright nasal space, we want to start pairing this with airflow. This exercise is really hard. Just straight up, it's a really difficult exercise. Don't beat yourself up with this one. There are 3 things that need to be working in the correct timing and coordination with each other: volume, breath pressure, and the rate of airflow that is leaving the body. The exercise is really simple. It's taking that E sound and going like this. The breath pressure comes from the diaphragm. The rate of airflow comes from the release of the vocal cords, letting that airflow through in an unconstricted way. And then the volume aids in that ability to keep the airflow moving in a quicker way. reduce volume, add airflow. Let me know if you need help, okay?
What? I don't know what. Oh, okay. All right, let's keep going. Okay. Yeah.
To talk about your goals. Do you have any goals? What are your goals? What should your goals be? If we're trying to feminize our voice, what should we be looking for 3 months from now? A year from now? In this video, today we are going to talk about your goals. Do you have any goals? What are your goals? What should your goals be? If we're trying to feminize our voice, what should we be looking for 3 months from now? A year from now? In this video, we are specifically going to be focusing on a 3-month goal in voice feminization. Our goal is to...
Perfect. That is what we're doing. 90 days, 3 months. I love it. All right, let's... Okay. So again, we're just getting a foundation. We're not trying to learn everything all at once and try to implement everything all at once. We're just trying to learn a little bit, write some stuff down, because there's going to be an exam at the end of the video. So, all right, that's okay, let's keep going.
Use that 3-month target as a simple jumping off platform for all of you to be able to take action and further thread that through to a longer term objective and understand how goal structure in anything can work to benefit your progress and skill development. Let's get into it. Goals are the objective of our ambitions. Why are you putting in all the time practicing? What are you trying to achieve from your action? What our ambitions are pointed at and what our objective is changes depending on where we're at and when we are working on the action. You might have something in mind of a 5-year goal. That is so far out. And the slippery challenge with pinning down what your goals should be is depending on what you are doing, your goals should change. If you're thinking about the entire process and project you're working on overall, yeah, you want to think about the very end goal, the most distant thing. What is the ultimate achievement of that project that you're picking up? However, when you're working day to day, your goal has to be smaller. Your goal has to be based on what you're actively doing, the individual actions that are being taken and the compound of those actions across a day or a week or a month. We have to recognize that goals come in different scales. We have this large scale goal, which is over a long period of time. And we think about that and we orient against that, but we don't actively hold that with each action that we're doing minute by minute or hour by hour, right? We check in back to that to remind us what the purpose of the process is for us. What can I try to achieve in 3 months? That's only 90 days, not a long period of time, but it's enough to allow time to pass and for you to play in the skill. But for you to even get to 90 days, what is your goal right now? When you take the action and when you go to practice and when you go to make the sound, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to hear? And people often confuse that goal for those longer term goals. If you're working in voice feminization, you think, I just want to sound feminine. I just want my voice to pass. Okay, that's great. Hold that goal out there. That's the objective of everything that we're going to try to do. But until you can determine action by action what's relatively closer or relatively further from your goal, ultimately that won't happen. When we're thinking about the short-term goal, the minute by minute or action by action goal, that is why we stress understanding perception. This process is an oral process. We sense what we hear.
Okay, so hold on. Ooh, okay. So my long-term goal is I want a passing feminine sultry voice. My short term in 90 days and 3 months, I mean, when it comes to when it comes to life, I'm a very laid back person, so I don't expect a lot or have big hopes or dreams. I kind of just take things as they are. So in 90 days, I think my goal would be my everyday speaking voice just be a little different than what it is now. So I will create a 90-day video, an update, and kind of compare myself on where I am right now to then, or then to now. And then, yeah, I know getting to my goal or dream voice is probably going to take a year or so. So I'm not too concerned on having a perfect voice in 90 days, but just any progress I will be happy with.
While we're doing it, and we have to recognize, interpret, select, organize, and evaluate what we're hearing to determine if we're a little better or a little worse. That doesn't mean we've achieved the ultimate end. It's just saying, I'm working on this part of my voice. I'm working on trying to go higher in pitch in a way that sounds comfortable. Is this action closer towards that goal or not? And we have to be able to hear that. So each action we're doing, we're applying that micro goal to it, that perceptual goal, that action goal. You're at the beginning and you need to be able to determine right from wrong or progress from error at that stage. And that doesn't mean evaluating against the ideal. It means understanding the territory, getting acquainted with the different qualities, listening to the sound, taking a little bit of time and just seeing if you can do a little more than you could 5 minutes ago, a little more than you could yesterday with the actions that you're taking. So if you are trying to work on voice feminization, I think a reasonable 3-month goal is simply to try and feel more comfortable, sound more relaxed, and have a better access to higher pitches. We want to start to gain that freedom and flexibility. So we're not sounding really pinched off, but we have this like flowing. Like even if the voice sounds a little bit more masculine still, we want to be more relaxed and have a better to try and feel more comfortable, sound more relaxed, and have a better access to higher pitches. We want to start to gain that freedom and flexibility. So we're not sounding really pinched off, but we have this like flowing. Like even if the voice sounds a little bit more masculine still, we're looking for that fluidity and we're looking for that higher pitch access, because then from there, changing the color of it, changing the quality of it, you're going to have 9 more months to your year goal to try to achieve that change. This access to higher pitches is the foundational core to developing a feminine voice. Even if you want to talk at a lower pitched feminine voice, it still relies on the type of vocal coordinations we use to go higher. We talked about this in the lower pitched feminine voice video. So always we want to see in the first 3 months in a feminine voice journey, we want to see someone moving higher. We want to see someone getting more relaxed. It's not to say that your feminine voice is going to be super high or you have to go to a high pitch. It's just you want to be building foundational skills that allow you to sound comfortable, relaxed, and neutral at those high pitches, because then they become areas for you to start shaping and for you to start really moving freely on. Now, if we then think about that 3-month goal, let's look even shorter. What should be your 1-month goal? I think in 1 month, you should play around with your voice. You shouldn't even really think so much about like nuts and bolts, I'm trying to get everything right. For a month, you should just play with your voice, move your pitch around, just make random sounds, explore your voice before a month before you even really think about a more complex action from there. Because a lot of individuals.
Okay, I like this. I like this video. So what I do want to create is I do want to create a baseline. So I guess tomorrow or the day after, I do want to create a baseline. I want to figure out where my pitch is, my resonance, my vocal weight, my inflection, anything that I can track and grab some data from. I want to get a baseline so that in 90 days, I can kind of see where I'm at. What's my average pitch? What's my resonance, vocal weight, inflection, all of that. So, okay. 1 month exploring my sounds, my voice, I can definitely do that. That's a good 1 month goal, is just play, just explore. So that will be January. That's my January goal, along with my weekly and daily plan. So that is my 1 month goal. Writing that down. Get baseline. That is my next step. So that will be the next video of just getting a baseline. Okay, let's keep going.
Individuals' difficulties come from the fact they're just so boxed in vocally. They have this preset range of qualities they've done when they speak, and then they try to jump in head first into achieving their 5-year goal or 1-year goal, and they don't actually give themselves an opportunity to play. So, take your voice and just play with it. Throw it around and go slow. Move with it. See if you can go higher and shed some of that sound.
And that's where the I think being afraid to appear silly or goofy or I guess feel weird is something that affects me, and I'm sure other people. But that'll be another thing for this 1 month goal, is just to not to not be afraid to be silly and weird, throwing your voice around. So stop feeling silly. Part of the 1 month goal. Okay, let's keep going.
Play with.
You have it listen, you type it in, and then you go digging.
Stopping and starting it, kind of more forced. Playing with the range of sound production. These are just open-ended explorations that start to build foundational interaction, foundational skills, and awareness about the voice. You want to be able to get your hands dirty first. After you start to gain that comfortability with pitch, then I want you to start listening for the quality of sound you hear when you go up. If you're going up in pitch and it sounds more forceful, more aggressive, harsher, more strained, hoarse, crackling, labored, if it feels uncomfortable, if you feel like your voice is gonna crack, that's what you want to be listening for. That's what you want to be observing, because your ability in that small moment to make even a 1%, 5%, 10% improvement of trying to go a little higher and sound a little more comfortable, that builds out all the way to your 3 months. That is what builds skill. So the most effective structure in forming goals is a structure where you both have the macro goal, the very far out goal, but also the present goal, the micro goal. And we want to see an integration of all of them. 5 years out, let's say you want to sound female, you want to pass, you want to have a more feminine voice, whatever that represents to you. And then we want to see in a year, you get conversational and you start to have confidence being able to use that conversationally. In 3 months, we're looking to hear our voice getting higher and more comfortable as we go higher. To achieve that, we first just want to play with our voice. After we play with our voice to achieve more control, we want to specifically be listening for when we're getting tight or strained or labored or effortful when we work to get higher. It comes back always in service of the ultimate goal, but we can't focus on that in the foreground with each action we take. The big goal is in the background and the present goal is in the foreground, because that is what allows us to get meaning, action by action, understanding the relative quality of each action we're taking so that we can take positive steps forward, recognize positive steps forward, and recognize steps backward. And that allows us to progress in that trajectory, scaling up in complexity towards that complex, abstract, far-off goal. That's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the channel. Check us out on Patreon.
Okay.
We've been putting out a lot of amazing...
Okay. So, this is what we got. So, I want to get my baseline. I want to find some apps, some programs, and get my voice down. Figure out my resonance, my pitch. Anything that I can track, get that. That's my next step. My 1 month goal is that I just want to explore, play, throw my voice around, stop feeling silly about my voice. So getting over that, that's my goal. 3 month goal is I want to feel more comfortable with my voice, and I want to sound more relaxed in my everyday speaking. So I know it won't be perfect. I won't be at where I want to be, but I just want to sound more relaxed compared to, I mean, I sound relaxed now, but at month 1 and month 2, I'm sure it's going to be, it might sound forced or hard. So we'll have to check in on that. And then my 1 year goal. So at the end of 2026, I want to have a passable voice. I don't want to be clocked for my voice. I want to feel comfortable and I want to love my voice. So that is the goal. And that's a pretty big goal. So hopefully 1 year is realistic in voice training. But that's what we got going on right now. But let's keep going.
And this is what we want to like kind of go for, is this type of like vocal structure, okay?
So, you came here to learn Drew's voice. And let me tell you, it's not gonna be easy, mate. You just got to learn what you're doing, yeah? Hey guys, it's Matty here. Hope you're having a fantastic day if you are. Woo woo, yeah. So, you came here wanting to learn the mommy voice or a girl voice. And let me tell you, it's not gonna be easy. And I'm not a professional, but I do know some things about vocal training as I am a voice actor and have been doing vocal training for 10 years. So, I do know a thing or two. The first,
I will say, I think being a voice actor would be really fun, and I would love to take advantage of this voice training and try some voice acting. I think that would be really fun. Yeah. We'll get into that later. I might look into that.
First step is resonance, and it's right here on this screen, okay? Resonance, learn it. What is that, you ask? So our voices, we have caverns, okay? Our vocal tracts have caverns when we talk. It's what portrays sound in a different way. So if I talk in a higher type of tone, it sounds different.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business.
Compared to when I talk in a lower type of tone, it sounds very, very different, right? Because I'm changing tone, but I'm also changing structure of my voice. So, again,
Higher type of tone.
lower type of tone, but different resonance, but it's lower, okay? So, yeah. Now, how can we achieve this? Again, you can learn the Kermit method, or you can learn the swallow method. It's up to you. I don't care. Whatever you can do to learn it and how you achieve it is all that matters. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Kermit method. And the way we do that is by literally doing Kermit the Frog's voice. So if you ever do Kermit the Frog's voice, if you touched your Adam's apple, you'll feel it go all the way up towards your trachea and it's gone. It's practically non-existent. A lot of MTF women, yeah, are looking for to get rid of that because they don't want it to show. I mean, they want to be passable. So that's what you kind of have to do, even if you're not MTF.
When I do Kermit the Frog's voice, my Adam's apple goes upwards and it's actually non-existent. So if I push back this.
Wait. I don't know how to do Kermit's voice. So wait, I'm looking at my Adam's apple. Oh, yeah. So I heard about the swallowing method. When you go for a swallow, there's a point where your Adam's apple goes up and you can hide it and you can hold it. So I'm assuming that's what the swallow method was. I don't know how to do Kermit's voice. But wait, okay. Let me see if I can see it. Okay, so we could see it a little bit. Yeah, so when I swallow, I don't know how to do Kermit's voice. I don't know. How do you do the... how do you lift it up?
This type of like pushing it through my voice.
And kind of keep the structure of it going upwards, but kind of like getting rid of the Kermit Frog voice. You start to sound like this, and this is what we want to like kind of go for, is this type of like vocal structure.
That's insane. What? How did you go from Kermit to that?
You're going upwards, but
So if I push back this type of like pushing it through my voice
and kind of keep the structure of it going upwards, but kind of like getting rid of the Kermit Frog voice, you start to sound like this. And this is what we want to like kind of go for, is this type of like vocal structure, okay? Hello, hi, how are you? I'm okay, I'm fine.
So basically you're gonna do that by learning resonance that way. Again, I've only been doing it for 2 months. I'm not a professional, but
Been only doing it for 2 months? That voice is crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta remind myself, I'm not trying to learn everything and do everything today. We're just getting a base foundation.
I am learning it. Number two is this right here. Learn that. It's gonna help. So VR Chapman explained it. It's like a ladder. Okay, you're gonna go upwards in the ladder and go 1 pitch, 2 pitch, 3 pitch. So it's pitch. Learn pitch. Now, pitch is not very crucial when you learn the female voice, but it can help to go higher in a pitch to go into like a lolly voice eventually. Okay, because if you ever want to do that, you do need to know pitch. Okay, so yeah, pitch. I learned it by doing a method I call the meow method. I go meow 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 all the way high. Okay, you could do this also by going
This is a type of higher voice, right? This is a pitch that's higher. We're not in falsetto. We don't want to go in falsetto because if we go in falsetto, we'll start to sound like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, hiya there, pal. Oh boy. Oh, Miska, this is falsetto. Oh yeah.
Don't go in falsetto. So again, when you're doing a pitch, just go higher into the ladder, okay? We just want to go higher into the ladder. You just go higher and louder, okay? Higher and louder. And the way Trans Voice Lessons explains this is by doing a method called the pa and the ha method. So you're gonna do like as if you're at a school bus or in a car where it's cold, and you're gonna be like doing like the type of thing to make it like fog up, right? You're basically gonna do that. And so for this one, I learned it from this way. And then we're just gonna make it thinner and thinner and thinner. So we're gonna go
Party. Let's go to a party.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna learn it that way while just doing the pa and the ha method, okay? Okay. Step 3. And this right here is very crucial. Please learn this. Vocal weight. What is vocal weight? Vocal weight is essentially how deep we do a voice and how light we do a voice. So if I talk like this is a heavier type of weight. I'm using heavy vocal weight to talk to you like this right now. And if I keep this tone,
but do a softer type of vocal weight, I'm doing the same tone, but softer vocal weight the entire time.
Soft vocal weight. We can learn this by again doing the ah method. When you go in the ah method, there's a transition in your vocal structure that goes from ah, soft vocal weight, lighter vocal weight. That's what we want. We want to achieve that, okay? Learn soft vocal.
Okay, we want to achieve that. Okay, so I don't think, what tone? I don't think we learned tone. Let me write that down. Tone? Okay. I know this is getting long. This is getting a lot. I'm definitely getting, my brain is getting mush, but if we just learn a little bit, we don't have to learn it all and memorize it all tonight, but just a little bit. Let's keep going.
Vocal weight. It's almost like a whisper in a sense, but you can learn it. I promise you, you can learn it. It just takes a little bit of time, okay? If you can't achieve it that way by doing it, and I know my Oculus is kind of off right here, I don't know what's going on, but if you can't achieve it by doing that, you can also achieve it by doing it with the way our bodies are positioned, okay? So if I go, I'm putting my head all the way down to my chest, okay? I know it sounds weird, I know it's weird, I know. But if you noticed, when I go, and then do that, like the chest thing, it softens the voice. The voice becomes softened, okay? We want light vocal weight. That's what we want. Light vocal weight. Almost like a whisper, okay? Whispery type of voice. Okay, step 4. And this one's a pretty good one too. You're gonna need to know this to be able to do a girl voice. It's just the truth. It's called accents and annotations. So, what is that, you ask? You gotta learn how girls talk, my guy. You just gotta learn how they talk, my guy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn. So I used to watch like Mean Girls and then other YouTubers do the voice, and that's how I learned how to do it. I watched a couple of videos for like maybe like a couple of videos a week of Drew, and I now sound like him, sort of. I don't know. It wasn't my.
Well, I don't know who Drew is. I don't know. I'll have to look that up later.
Intentions to sound just like exactly like him with his accents and stuff. So I'm trying to learn to get in my own rhythm to do my own mom voice without sounding like Drew. But if Drew, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Apologize. But yeah, that's what you need to learn is an accent of some sort. You can easily go to YouTube, type in this right here. Just type that in and just learn. Just listen. I like to get a vocal recorder.
I don't like when they're like, just do it. Just learn. Just do your voice and then just go like this, and then they just do the girl voice. I'm like, what? Oh my god. It's like that SpongeBob video where it's like they're drawing a perfect circle. And it's just like, do this, and then do this, and then erase it, and then perfect circle. It's like, what? Just do it.
And record myself on my phone. That's how I do a lot of voices, like, oh, hi there. Hey, Aviation Jen, the Mint Mobile. Aviation Jen, Mint Mobile, and whatever Hugh Jackman's dildo is. So, oh, that's because it's Christmas date opener, and I'm looking for somebody on my naughty list. You basically just learn from other people. I've only been doing that when Ryan Reynolds, and not even, what, 2-3 weeks? It's bad, I know. But you are gonna want to learn from doing people's voices. It's called mimicry. You need to know mimicry. Just mimic a voice. Find a girl's voice that you like and mimic it. It's that simple. Okay. Step 5, and this is something that I have to say is very crucial as well. It's speed. So typically when women talk, they talk in a faster tone. The tempo is much faster compared to a guy that's like much slower. We're much more slower when we talk. So hey, what's up guys? It's me, Matta here. Feminine tones and tempos.
What's up guys? It's me, Matta here. Hello, hi, how's your day been? I'm okay, that's fantastic. Awesome, that's fantastic.
Now, I do want to say that, okay, I guess there are typical or stereotypical ways that men or women, masculine, feminine voice can speak and can sound, but there's also, you know, everyone's a little different. Everyone does their own thing. So there are going to be more masculine voices that speak faster, and then there are going to be a lot more feminine voices that speak slower. So it's not that there's a perfect way to speak. I guess there's guidelines. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I don't like the idea of saying you have to speak this certain way to be masculine or feminine. But these are the ways that tend to be more masculine or feminine. I guess that's a better way of saying it.
awesome. Wow. Jessica, I bought this new purse from Etsy, and let me tell you, the Etsy purse came today, and I'm super excited.
You know, like they just talk faster. They just naturally talk faster. And I know that's a terrible impression, but they just talk faster and get faster. Basically, just get faster with tempos. Okay? Okay. Now, this is something a lot of people always say is very crucial, and it does, but it's not like an optional step or a primary step. This just be something you should be naturally doing. You should just be naturally drinking water on a daily basis, okay? Okay, so just drink your water, okay? Yeah. All right, so yeah, just drink water, make sure you're drinking water. Water's very beneficial to your body. I mean, your body's made out of it. Just basically hydrate these vocal cords, okay? There's 16 muscles in these. Not many people use those. There's 16 muscles here. Use them, okay? Just like muscles in our arms for big old strongly men, these are muscles too. And you have to work on these to train your voice, okay? Okay. So, when we take the resonance, we take the pitch, we take the vocal weight, we take the accent, and then we take the tempo, okay? Okay, so again, resonance, pitch, vocal weight, accent and annotations, tempo, and water, obviously. So yeah, when we put all those together,
resonance, higher pitch in the voice, livestock vocal weight in the voice, and faster tempos when we talk. Okay, that's when we start to sound like a mom or a girl in a sense, and that's what you kind of want to go for.
That's crazy. That voice is so good. I love that voice. I want that voice. Okay, let's keep going.
Is for you memes Discord. I am Mirda Chandesu, and I'm going to run through a couple of things that I use to help me get started with voice training. I'm not an expert, and my methods may not even be the best, but these are some things that made sense to me and helps me get to a place where I'm comfortable speaking socially. I'll be looking away a lot over here because I wrote some things down. I tend to and a lot when I talk, and I don't want to end up repeating myself, and I want to make sure that I cover everything that I want to cover. So the first thing that I want to talk about is tone versus pitch. This may not be a super accurate definition, but to me, tone is the way your voice sounds, while pitch merely shifts that tone up and down. When approaching voice training, it's important, in my opinion, to approach the tone first. Without the tone, pitch doesn't mean anything. There are plenty of cis females who have very deep voices, and yet they still sound feminine. Do not fall into the falsetto trap. Falsetto doesn't make you sound like a girl. It makes you sound like Mickey Mouse. Save it for singing and squealing.
Yeah, okay. I've seen that in a lot of videos. I don't want that Minnie Mouse voice. So that is falsetto, right? So I don't want that, but I do want to play with it and get there to know to stay away from there. Yes.
That was gay. From what I understand, the male voice resonates at 2 frequencies simultaneously, above the Adam's apple and below it. This causes not only a wider, I don't know why I clapped there. This not only causes a wider dynamic range, but also a bit of roughness and a tonality that we don't want. We want our voice to resonate below the Adam's apple only. And to do that, we'll first need to figure out how to get the Adam's apple out of the way. Touch your hand to your throat. Touch your hand to your throat and swallow. You feel that moving up and down? That's our Adam's apple. As if you didn't know where it was before. Anyway, I just want you to feel what it feels like when you swallow, because
So this is the swallow method that we were learning about earlier. It was the swallow method and who? The Elmo, was it? Or yeah, so I'm more familiar with the swallow method. And then it lifts the Adam's apple out of the way.
I want to emulate that. We're trying to get that sort of up and down on command. We want it to stay up. So grab your throat like this, very gently, don't choke yourself. Swallow. Your Adam's apple should get trapped above your hand. For the purpose of this demonstration being as accurate as possible, I'm going to speak with my natural born voice.
To show you what it should sound like, here's my voice that I was born with. It cracks a lot because I'm not used to using it. It's really weird. It's almost kind of hard to use this voice. Anyway, it's a little less harsh and there's less bass, and it sounds overall just like a little bit gay, but also a little bit more feminine. And that was without, like, you know, doing anything. Anyway, we want to be able to do this on command. You'll never be able to lift it as high on command as you do when you swallow, but you can nudge it up a fair bit. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good advice because I can't make you feel the muscles that you need to feel. That's something you're gonna have to.
Okay, and this is where practice, daily practice comes in. And this, I want to, so I am not a patient person, but I will be practicing that skill through this journey. I want to take it slow and steady. Like I showed earlier, the week 1 is just breath work and relaxation. So yeah, I want to practice, feel these muscles, and yeah, I agree with what she's saying.
To figure out on your own. For right now, you're gonna need to be swallowing a lot. If you didn't already. You'll need to be really conscious of what muscles you're using while you're swallowing and figure out how to use that manually. Once you have that figured out, it's time to use it a lot. What do I mean by that? Listen to yourself. Listen to cis female whose voice you like and compare it. See what's different other than the pitch. Emulate.
I mean, not even a cis female. It could be anyone that you want to. You like the last video, Mata? That voice was so good. So, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a cis woman. It can be anyone, really.
Build your tone with complete deafness to the pitch and focus on how you sound. Again, I don't have any great advice here, so it's up to you to practice like fucking crazy. Once you feel confident with that, you can start pushing the pitch in. I'm bad at reading, and I wrote this. Pitch is a lot less complicated. And really, the only advice that I have that's not just completely duh is try not to set your default speaking voice as high as absolutely possible. Females tend to, but not always, but usually, fluctuate their pitch as they speak more often than men do. So what you'll want is a safety net on either side to make sure you don't become really monotone or get caught trying to emphasize something.
Okay. So, I guess when it comes to what I want or where I'm going towards, I'm okay with having a more daily voice that's monotone and slower. I know this video and the last video, they talked about not being monotone and speaking faster, but with having the goal of a more sultry voice, which is not super traditional in the aspect, or when you think of a female voice or feminine voice, I'm okay having slower, more monotone day-to-day voice.
When you're already at your limit. Sure, I could talk like this all day, every day, and it would be really nice and high pitched, but I would be really annoying to listen to, and I couldn't ever really inject any emotion or emphasis on what I was saying. Once you've managed to combine the tone and the pitch, it's time to practice as much as possible. any moment you have by yourself where no one can hear you, preferably for myself, practice. If you have a friend who's supportive or is going...
Like I said earlier, I want to become obsessed with my voice every day for at least 90 days, 3 months. I want to just become obsessed with my voice, and this is the only thing in regards to my transition that I want to think about, that I want to work on, that I want to document, that I want to learn. I want to become obsessed.
Going through this with you, practice with them. Even if you're by yourself, you need to practice having natural conversations. Don't just read a book or the same sentence over and over. Great, you can now recite an entire page of Harry Potter sounding really feminine. Now, what about ordering food at a restaurant? Like, you know, unless you're going to be ordering butterbeer or something like, I don't know. Speaking of ordering at a restaurant, also, volume is going to be your arch nemesis for a while. Volume is where my voice always used to fall apart, and it was humiliating. The only advice that I have here is to use your nose. It might not be super graceful sounding, but putting a little nose into it will help a lot, as you may have been able to tell throughout this video, because I do it. Before I end this, look up voice warm-ups. I would give you some, but this is already 7 minutes long, at least before editing, if I do decide to edit this, and I don't want to go into that, but there's tons on YouTube. Look up good warm-up for your voice. If you hurt your voice, it's gonna get hoarse, and it's gonna fucking suck. It's really hard to sound good when you're hoarse. Even after you feel like you've mastered this shit, warm up before every practice, just to be safe. Every morning, I have a 30-minute drive to work, so I do my warm-up exercises. That is the rule. I feel confident with my voice now, and I've been doing it for a while, but still, I do my warm-up exercises. I did one before I started this video. I did one this morning. It's important. It makes a huge difference in the sound as well, and it makes it a lot more comfortable to do. I've gone on long enough, as I've said before, so I'm going to end this here. I hope I managed to help 1 or 2 of you at least, and if so, that's rad. That's so cool. I'm glad that I was able to help, and if not, then I'm sorry, and I hope that you're able to find something that works for you. Voice training sucks. It really sucks. Especially when you're doing it around people who, this is off script, I didn't think to add this, especially when you're doing it around people who you already knew pre-transition. They might make fun of you, and it fucking sucks. But, fuck them. They're not going through any shit like this. They are weak-ass bitches who are just fine with the voice that they have, and they don't have to do any work, and they're lazy, and I don't know, that's the way I think of it. I don't know if it's healthy to think that way, but it helped me be more confident using my new voice around people that I knew. I don't really have friends, so my coworkers. You also want to work on coughing, sneezing, and laughing, and like sometimes yawning, depending on how you yawn. Those little things can be super important to keeping up. I don't want to call it a facade. This is not a facade, but it's definitely not the voice that you were given when you were born. So you want to manage to keep, if you want to keep that up, you gotta work on those things because they can destroy you, your self-confidence when you're out in public or something and you find yourself having to cough or sneeze or something. That's it. I think that's all that I had to say. So, goodbye.
Goodbye. That was good. I like that. I wonder what she's up to. This was 8 years ago. That's crazy. Oh, she hasn't made anything recently. I like that video. She was nice. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost at 2 hours. This is a long study session.
Let's do here. And I just want to give a big thanks for 10,000 subscribers for hitting this milestone. I promised that I would do a girl voice tutorial, and well, here it is. A couple things I do need to say before this tutorial starts. This tutorial is great for anyone that is trying to feminize their voice, including transgender individuals that may find this video helpful in their transition.
First things first, I'm going to be splitting this video into 3 different sections, and I'll timestamp each one so you can go back to each part whenever you need to. The first section is going to be vocal range. This first part is going to help you with your pitch, as well as a good warm-up that I would recommend you doing. Second section is going to be position and stability. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to help you keep your voice stable and help your tone build some resistance so you can talk in a female voice for a long period of time. And last section is going to be tips and tricks. I'm just going to give you a couple things you should and shouldn't do, as well as things that may help you improve a lot quicker. Before we can start talking in a feminine voice, we need to focus on your vocal range. This is crucial for all types of voice impressions, especially the girl voice, and I think one of the best ways to help with this is with scales. Listening to a piano or humming to match the pitch of what you hear is a great way to expand your vocal range. For now, just start with sounds like la or just hum. Start at a low note and slowly progress up note on the piano. Keyword here is pitch. And changing your pitch is what is going to allow you to achieve a more feminine voice. Expanding your range will only help you know at what pitch you want to be at so you don't sound too high like Mickey Mouse or anything too low. You're looking for something in between, which is going to give you a more natural, high-pitched voice, which is what you're looking for. Just a side note, people confuse pitch and tone, but in the most simple terms, pitch is how high or low your voice can go, while tone is the mood of how you sound. Scales also work as a warm-up that you can do before any session.
I need to I need to do a deep dive on resonance, pitch, tone, because I think I understand inflection. Yeah, resonance, pitch, tone, vocal weight. I can't say that I know what these mean. My brain is turning into mush. I'm back in college. I need to keep learning this, learn every day, watch more videos, and just keep learning. I feel like I'm trying to learn all of this all at once, and my brain's just like, no, not today, bitch. So, okay, let's just keep going. Let's finish out these videos, and then, yeah.
Or anytime you practice. So it kind of clears out your throat. Like I said, just an example, you start low and each step you take gets progressively higher. You can either go as high as you can, as low as you can, or you can go high and then low. You can start super low, go super high. Everything you do is going to help. So again, just an example. La 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 la. And then you can go down. So this is probably the hardest part to explain and took me the longest to write down in a way that makes sense. So bear with me. Positioning or position. This is what's going to make you sound more authentic, so more like a realistic female.
With AI,
you can create any character you want in seconds.
This used to require huge.
It's also going to help you like stay away from like that like femme boyish voice if that's not what you're looking for. But these are all going to be different ways of explaining the same thing. So I think the best way of explaining this is to raise the back of your tongue. So if you put your fingers on your throat and you raise your tongue to like the roof of your mouth, you're going to feel this little section in your throat pull upwards. That's what you're trying to keep while you're talking in a feminine voice. Another way of explaining this position is the feeling you get when you're inhaling while yawning, or you are taking a big deep breath with your mouth, like through your mouth. So it's kind of like, and then you're gonna feel a bit of tension here, and that's how it's supposed to feel. Don't confuse this with what you need to do. This is just an understanding of what it's supposed to feel. So you don't need a yawn every single time you try to do a female voice. It's definitely going to take some time to get used to, and it's going to be the most tiring part because we're building those muscles. But eventually,
okay,
with enough
okay.
practice, you'll.
Oh, so so take a deep breath, and that tension is so. Oh, okay, I feel it. Oh, and my Adam's apple is. Oh. Okay, so when I try to get. Oh, so the. Okay. So we take a deep breath. And then that's where my voice. I should hold my voice. And. Oh, okay. That is. Oh, why was that hard? That was. Okay, let me try it one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna just feel the tension. And then. So we take a deep breath and I swallow a little bit. So that's where I can hold my voice. It feels like really tight in the back of my throat. Oh, that is. Oh, I can see why they say drink a lot of water.
Be able to go to that position super quickly, and that's what your goal is. Side note, I know I didn't mention resonance, but resonance is defined as the quality in sound. This goes hand in hand with positioning and stability, which I'm going to be talking about in a little bit, because over time you will get used to where you want to be, so you don't have to worry too much about this. Now that you understand vocal range and positioning, we can finally move.
To be clear, I don't understand anything, okay? But I'm learning a little bit. So I'm getting there, but I don't understand anything.
Move on to what you've all been waiting for, speaking in the female voice. So, start with simple words like hi or hey till you find what you're looking for. And to do that, you're going to keep that sweet spot position that we talked about earlier, and then you're going to raise the pitch of your voice. So, I'll do this with you because it is complicated and it's very hard to understand, but this is just a way of saying raise your Adam's apple. So, kind of push your tongue up to the roof of your mouth.
When I do this, it sounds like this. So when it might be hard for you because I've just been doing it for a long time. I don't know your experience, but keep trying until you find something similar to this, where you can keep this position and still talk, right? You can start with hey, hey, hello, hey. Now we're gonna change the pitch of our voices, and that's what's gonna make it sound more feminine. This is the hard part. So start normal. This is what my normal is. Then you're gonna go up each step, kind of like the scales, right? So you go up, high, 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 high. Hey, hey, hey. Until you find something that you like, it's gonna take some time to get used to. Eventually it'll be second, like kind of muscle memory, and you'll immediately go to where you want. You just need the practice and you'll get there. All right, stability is going to come from.
Okay. I think a lot of these people that I'm watching, they kind of practiced on their own and figured it out on their own, and they're trying to teach what they did on their own. And it's like, oh, you just practice and you just do it. And then you did it. Like, what? You just. What? What's that meme? What?
Being relaxed and having confidence. This even happens to me once in a while. When I get nervous, my voice does get shaky and it does start to break a bit. This is something that happens to everyone, so make sure you are starting to have longer conversations in your female voice. Take a deep breath and stay relaxed. Stability also comes from practicing and taking the time to putting in the effort to do your best every single day. just make sure not to strain yourself. Take breaks whenever you need to. The more you do it, the stronger you will, and eventually you'll be able to do it for longer periods of time. All right, last section is a couple of tips and tricks that will help you get it down a lot quicker and easier. Things I wish I knew when I first started doing it. So number one is going to be sing in a female voice. And if you don't like to sing, just read the lyrics off your favorite songs. Anyways, it's not easy, but I will tell you that it will help you improve a lot quicker. If you don't like to sing, like actually don't like to sing, just hum the pitch of the song in a slightly higher pitch. Everything you do will improve your voice. For the people that are more experienced, here's a challenge for you. Try duetting yourself, so switch between your normal and female voice throughout the song. Yeah. Number two, raise your chin and smile while doing your voice. You can either do one or both if you like, but doing this will help with the stability of your voice so it's not shaky or anything like that. Another one will be talking a bit slower and having breathier words. This is going to make you sound more authentic. This is going to avoid sound coming from your nose. Hi.
Hey everybody, Peach here, and today we're going to take a look
Yeah,
at the
so
Stadium's
that-
Gym Monster 2, which is...
I do want that, so that is perfect. Slower and breathier. I don't want a nasal sounding voice. I do want a more breathier, slower speaking voice. So something like this. Yeah, I like the breathiness.
Hey, hi. No, it's more breathier than short. Number four, I've heard a lot of other tutorials talk about drinking a lot of water. I think this is optional. Personally, I think just drink water when you need to. You're going to feel your mouth very dry and your throat. But personally, if I drink a lot of water when I'm doing my female voice, I get a lot of loogies in my throat, which actually makes it harder for me to speak because I always got to clear my throat out every single time, and it gets really annoying. But just don't drink too much water, but also stay hydrated. Number five, make sure to stay relaxed. Like I said, take a deep breath. If you need help with this, what you could do is like run in place for like 20 seconds, then immediately stop and start talking in your feminine voice. This acts the same way as if you were to get nervous, so it raises your heart rate. It's very hard, but if you're able to do this, then you're a master at it. So try that a couple times. If like you getting nervous, if stability is your problem, give that a couple times. It is very hard even for me, so don't feel bad. Copying / mimicking someone's voice is another great way of learning super quickly. By listening and manipulating your own voice to match whoever you're trying to sound, works surprisingly well.
Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any other...
It's your girl Z from transvoicelessons.com, and in this video we are going to talk about some crucial do's and don'ts of voice training. So let's get started.
Okay. So I think we're getting there. We're getting some places. Going off to my second page. Hope y'all are taking notes. Again, not trying to learn and memorize everything tonight. I feel like I'm catching my second wind. But yeah, we got 3 more videos. Where we got 12, 20, 30 more minutes of videos. So let's just get through this, and then yeah.
Do be playful, curious, and exploratory when you are working on your voice. One of the things that we're trying to develop is general vocal rapport. General vocal rapport translates to all other forms of vocalization. So if you're practicing voice feminization, don't be afraid to play with different accents. Don't be afraid to sing. Don't be afraid to mimic interesting character voices. If you're a singer, don't be afraid to play with some gender voice modification. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to magically trans yourself or something, but just playing with your voice and being open to these different experiences that you can make is part of what it means to learn voice. So keep yourself open. Don't shut yourself off. If you're trying to work on a certain quality or a certain technique, don't just tunnel vision on that. Allow yourself to see what doors and avenues open up as you really explore what sounds you can produce. You keep your ear open, you move through the vocal space, and you never know what you'll find in that process. I know personally for me, I have had most of my breakthroughs on accident when I'm not even trying to do the actual thing I'm trying to have a breakthrough on. I remember there was this breakthrough I had 2 years ago. I was sitting outside of a restaurant waiting for an Uber to pick me up. And I was sitting on a curb just playing with my voice, and I was doing these like silly noises, and suddenly I hit this combination that wasn't what I want, but it kind of opened up a new space for me, and then I stayed in that space, and then I tried to do what I wanted in that space, and suddenly it brought me a breakthrough back to my actual quality that I was around. And there's no way that I ever would have had that learning opportunity or even would have had that breakthrough had I been so closed off or really limited what I allowed myself to explore with the voice. When you are playing and exploring with your voice, like we just said, don't ignore any signs of vocal injury, vocal strain, or vocal impairment. It's so important that you listen to what your body is telling you in terms of warning signals. Generally speaking, we should never be forcing or pushing our voice really hard to do new things, because our ability to do new things and to do astonishing feats with our voice never comes from a place of strength or force. It comes from a place of dexterity and agility. It's about coordination. Now, don't be alarmed. The risks of some serious vocal complication of doing really anything with your voice is pretty low. However, if you're ignoring obvious warning signs when you're vocalizing, you do risk vocal injury. So what are some of those obvious warning signs? 1, getting really loud and strained and forceful when you try to push higher. We're never trying to push higher. We're always trying to gently raise our voice or change our voice. So never trying to just blast through anything. If you hear anything that sounds hoarse or strained or scratchy or fatiguing, if your voice feels like it gets tired very quickly, these are all signs that something you are doing is too costly as you are doing it. Vocal health is a little bit like mana in a video game. We're trying to cast all these vocal spells, but we have to wait for our mana bar to regenerate. And with good vocal technique, we never even spend enough mana to where it matters.
Someone is a gamer.
But if we start to overexert or push or ignore obvious warning signs, we can start to spend so much mana that we can't contribute anything anymore to the process. We have to listen to that.
I would say it's like having another producer in the room that knows exactly what your song needs. This is co-producer. The fastest way to find
Do set your goals high and aim for whatever you want to aim for, but make sure that the milestones you set for yourself are realistic and pragmatic. A big component of any learning process is time. You have to expect that if you're just getting into this process, it's going to take a while for some of the most basic internal tools to develop for you to make a lot of meaningful progress like you want. So don't get discouraged when you're practicing and you don't see crazy fast results like you want. That is totally normal. And in fact, a lot of vocal development is very plateauy and jagged like that. We'll have big breakthroughs followed by periods of plateauing. And during those periods of plateauing, what we're trying to do is explore, experiment, and digest the information and abilities and skills we already have, get sharper and better at everything we already can do. And as we're doing that, we open up new grounds for ourselves, and we open up a new resolution to which we can hear with, process with, and act with, which ultimately lets us catch the mistakes that were eluding us, which is why we plateau in the first place. Aim for those goals, but be realistic about the journey, because a lot of the people that we look up to vocally have been working on their voice for a decade, 15 years. I've been working on my voice at this point unofficially for about 17 years, and I've been feminizing it for about 8 or more years at this point. Just keep in mind, this is a journey, and the destination is always going to change as you go through that journey and learn more about yourself, your voice, your capabilities, and what you really want. Don't avoid your challenges. A lot of people are really discouraged when they try to do something with their voice that they don't have the ability to do. But a lot of this process is recognizing a sound really well that we really want, and then reaching for that sound and observing what comes out and trying to incrementally listen and adjust our voice just a little bit closer to that desired target. And what can happen is, let's say we're working in voice feminization and we're trying to get someone to be relaxed and strain-free and light enough at high pitches so they're comfortable. What can often happen is it's a bit of time to develop that overall coordination and stability higher without that strain. If it takes a little bit of time, or someone doesn't get it initially on the first try, or after a dozen tries, it can often be very discouraging for individuals. We need to look at challenges and weaknesses in our voice as exciting domains to play in. They are not things to avoid or things to be ashamed of. They are things to address, look at, go slow, listen, and interact with, so that you can strengthen those weaknesses piece by piece in order to move forward past your plateau. Do listen to yourself while you vocalize. This is probably the most important tip period in voice training overall. Voice learning is fundamentally an auditory process. That's how you learn to speak your language. That's how you know who a great singer is. That's how you know who to take lessons with. You hear the effect. Your ability to access new vocal spaces is dependent on your ability to listen to your voice as you are vocalizing, so you can navigate and give feedback and give guidance to your body in real time about the quality you're trying to make. Even I can't give a student as valuable or as high quality of feedback as they can give to themselves when they have the right tools. So voice learning, and especially teaching voice, is about transferring the tools that I have inside me, my internal tools that let me understand how to listen and how to act around the process, and transfer those to someone else, so when they're on their own and they're practicing, it's not like they're blindly just lost or confused about what to do. If we have the ability to listen while we do it, and we know what we're trying to hear from that frame of reference, you can't really get lost. It can only take you longer to get where you want to be. But this idea of, I'm so lost, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, this comes from, like, do you know what you need to be listening for? If you do know what you need to be listening for, then you need to explore and take action.
Yes. So I think that's huge on taking notes, learning about resonance, pitch, tone, vocal weight, inflection. I want to learn what these things are. I don't want to just practice and just get to a voice based on luck and just be like, oh, hey, I made it. I want to learn about all these things and get, maybe I will get there faster by learning what all of these actions, this vocabulary, what everything means. But yeah, I don't want to do this blindly. I agree with her. I want to learn and educate myself. I think that would be a more efficient, more effective way on voice training.
While you're listening, and that process constructs a natural feedback loop that allows your body to incrementally work closer towards your goals. It's how you learn to speak your native language. You simply listened to people around you until you had a really good idea of what sounds you were trying to make, and then you experimented and explored a lot. And as you pushed off into those random territories, your ear was able to instinctively determine your proximity to the goal and target sound that you wanted. It wasn't like as a baby you were thinking, I said mama wrong. It's that as you gain sensation for the sound that you're trying to interact with, you can quickly and instantly understand if that's the quality that you want or not. And it's that process which speaks directly, instantly, and more valuably to your motor processors than sitting there consciously thinking after you vocalized if you did it right or not. Of course, working with a teacher and watching my content can give you external inputs that allow the internal process to change or direct your attention to places that you weren't seeking before in order to gain the information that you need internally. But ultimately, you doing a different action is fundamentally about you doing an action, and no one else can do that for you. It's important for you to understand that making those mistakes is literally what allows you to get to where you want to be with your vocal goals.
Yeah, and I think she's said this in the previous video is to be playful and to explore and to throw your voice around. I mean, you can watch all the videos you want, you can learn, you can read all you want, but if you're not going to practice, listen to yourself and just put in the work, then you're not going to actually change your voice. So yeah, I do want to listen to myself. I do want to learn what everything means, and yeah, hopefully I can make a big difference in this 90-day challenge.
Before Orange Theory, I was a teacher who couldn't keep up with her own students, but I got my spark back. I started to burn fat and build muscle, going from a size 10 to a 2. Now, I'm the role model my students deserve. Book a free class at orangetheory.com.
I chose the domain name joshharmon.tv because I think about my...
Don't obsess over exercises.
Okay. I'm gonna hear her out, but I want to obsess over my voice training and not specifically exercises. So I want to obsess over listening to myself, education, doing everything. But let's just see what she says.
It is amazing to me how many people come to me for lessons and the main thing they're seeking are like quote unquote some exercises to work on. And of course I understand that, because if we think of this process as like us lifting weights and trying to flex and build all these skills that'll allow us to kind of automatically end up at the goal, then that makes a lot of sense. Exercises are nothing more than a window of opportunity for you to listen and explore your voice to extract lessons from it. They're basically like conditional statements. We say, okay, let's do this movement, because when we do this movement, it really puts a spotlight on something that you're having trouble observing and interacting with. That's the goal of the exercise. It's to encourage interaction and encourage some learning frame for vocalization to occur in. It is not something that's just supposed to make your muscles literally stronger or to build bulk around your larynx so you can push it higher. That is not the goal. Now, there may be some aspects of vocal development which will be physical things, especially if you're a vocal underdoer, or you've been super quiet all your life, or you've been mute most of your life. Then yes, you will have to develop some rudimentary proficiency with your muscles. But the vast majority of what we're trying to do is coordinate. And in order for us to coordinate things with our voice or with a team, we have to be aware of what's going on inside that team. And for vocalists, that means being able to listen as we vocalize, because as we take these different explorations and we explore and do these different exercises and then we apply that listening to it, it lets us extract the important lessons from those exercises. So just don't over focus on exercises. There are certainly some amazing exercises that I love, and there's things that I love to bring out for students that are really fun and create a lot of awesome learning opportunities, but just don't overvalue repeating an exercise over and over. So that's all for this video. Thank you.
Are you tired of trans voice tutorials that require either a linguistics degree or a sound engineering degree to even understand it? Would you like a tutorial so simple that even 5-year-olds could understand it?
Well, here it is. Change the voice from this
to this. How to trans voice whatever part we're up to. Vocal weight. This one was a long time coming. So regulars of the channel might be wondering, why did it take so long to make a tutorial about vocal weight exactly? Well, when I was voice training myself and I watched all the other vocal weight videos, I'll be honest, I just didn't get it. For this tutorial, I'll be using this chart that I prepared in advance to explain what vocal weight is. We're gonna have voice examples of what each part of it sounds like, but the only vocabulary you need to understand in order to do this is to know the difference between brightness versus darkness and thick versus thin, right? So, our goal is to achieve bright and thin qualities in our voice. If you already know how to raise your larynx and do a bright resonance, you already can do the bright part. Vocal weight is more focused on the thick versus thin, but explaining what the difference between those are is a bit difficult. So let's meet some characters that have some voices very similar to the extremes of both so that we can understand the difference. Let's go.
So how's that gorilla breathing underwater anyway?
Oh, same way we are.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, I've invited SpongeBob and Patrick, my best friends in the world, to help demonstrate the different types of voices that fall in this vocal weight chart here. For example, my voice would sit in thin and bright, right? That's what we're going for by the end of this tutorial. However, let's look at Backseater's voice, SpongeBob's voice, and Patrick's voice to see the different extremes other than my voice on this graph here.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Is mayonnaise an instrument? Who wrote this? Is mayonnaise an instrument? Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Is mayonnaise an instrument? Is mayonnaise an instrument? So those four voices were the four extremes of this vocal weight graph here. That will hopefully help demonstrate the rough difference of how it sounds, right? So let's have a little play around to get a feel for it so we can identify those differences in isolation so that we can then get a thin and bright voice later. Sound good? Cool. Let's start with a stereotypical mask voice, okay?
Like a voice kind of here, right? Something along these lines. You'll notice that it sounds gravelly and dark, right? There's a distinct quality.
Okay, I think this is where my voice is at right now. We're dark and thick. I think I know the difference between bright and dark. I don't think I know the difference between thick and thin. I think my voice, this voice, is pretty dark. I think it's thick? I think it's thick. Thick and dark. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Okay.
Qualities of something being dark but also thick, right? That thickness, right? Now, let's try to do a Patrick Star impression. It doesn't have to be perfect. Heck, it doesn't actually have to be good, right? You just have to get that general quality, okay? You want to have like that attempt to try to make it sound very that kind of sound, right? If you have trouble doing this voice, try pretending you're yawning because you're really bored. Imagine someone's explaining.
Oh, so it's something like this. Is this thin? Am I doing a dark and thin voice? I don't know. I think so. Because there's thick, dark and thick, and then dark and thin. I think I'm getting the idea. Now, is thick and thin... is this pitch? Tone? I don't know. My brain is turning into mush. This has been 2 hours of watching voice training stuff.
Something like taxes or something. Just, oh, that's so boring. Oh my god. If that also doesn't work, if you also do a bad moist critical impression, that is roughly the same voice.
Hey guys, what's up? Shadow does taxes here. Today,
we're going to be making a ah sound in between each of the extremes on our little graph here, okay? So, what that'll sound like, for example, is me going, You can either blend the sounds together or do them as free, separate sounds, right? You could either go, like that, right? Now, bear in mind, when you're doing the dark, thin voice, your larynx is still going to be down. That's because once you hit the dark, thin, the only thing you have to change is your larynx. It's quite literally doing a Patrick Star voice and then raising both your pitch and your larynx at the same time, and you'll probably get the desired result.
This voice here would be an example of a dark and thick, right? Larynx is down, it's really gravelly, and, well, it doesn't sound very bright, right? Whereas this is a dark, thin voice. It's thinned out. That's because you can't hear the kind of right, we're removing the and turning it into a yawn. That's the sound we want, okay?
And then from there, all it is literally raising my pitch and larynx. Honestly, doing the thick, bright voice, the SpongeBob one, is a little uncomfortable. It's just this kind of kind of sound, right? Because if you do like the it almost sounds like a bad SpongeBob impression, right? The more techniques you learn and bring it together, the better it will sound. It's like building a little castle. If you have the little pieces, it might not sound perfect. But you might be wondering what it sounds like when someone learns.
Okay. Let's check out this.
Muscles outside of their normal function, which
Okay.
is to swallow.
I think we'll come back. My brain is turning into mush. And if you're still watching this, then I'm sure your brain is into mush as well. So this is where we're gonna wrap it up today. I feel like we'd learned a lot. I got 1.5 pages of notes. And what was the quiz? What is the largest effect on having a more feminine or passing voice? And that is your resonance. Again, I'm not super confident that I know everything, but I'm getting there. Hopefully 90 days from now, I'll be a lot more confident in what I know. But I think this was a good study session. Let me know what you learned, what you didn't learn. If you're still watching this, this is a long video. But if you're still watching this, I appreciate it. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. And yeah, I will see y'all next time. Bye.